Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles. This is our WWE show for the week. Let's jump right into it. First off, we have Randy Orton coming out, followed by The Authority of Triple H and Stephanie, followed by John Cena, furthering the angle from Survivor Series, where they did a pissing contest holding up the belts. We find out at TLC there's going to be a TLC match with both belts on the line. They worked around it real hard to not say unification match, and I know I read a little bit of the spoilers that Hunter did say unification match. I feel there's going to be a schmoz where one gets one belt, the other gets the other. Just my opinion. Also, a throwaway line from it, John Cena was talking about the fans are telling you they don't want you when they were chanting for Bryan. That goes for John, too. Very vocal yes and Daniel Bryan chants. The fans have picked a guy that they want to be behind. It's just a matter of time before the WWE realizes it. And the fans need to realize as well, you can chant all you want until you buy the merchandise, until you sell out the Daniel Bryan t-shirts, the Daniel Bryan toys, the Daniel Bryan DVDs, Daniel Bryan piggy banks, whatever they sell. Until he starts selling them out, they're never really going to get behind him. So, if you want Daniel Bryan at the top, that's what you got to do. Start buying his merchandise. Anyway, coming off of that, we have the Shield versus Rhodes brothers, Cody and Goldust, and Mysterio. Shield pick up a pretty impressive win, more evenly distributed, not just highlighting Roman Reigns like the pay-per-view. Pretty good. I thought I liked it. It was a good segment. I think they found kind of a formula that works. The Shield, the Rhodes brothers, the Usos, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, the Wyatt family. You mix that all together, mix different matches between them, and you're going to have a good match no matter who's in it. Now, coming up next would be, on any other show, the worst segment of the night. But there was one that beat it this night. We had Miz TV with Titus O'Neil pretending to be Michael Strahan, followed by the real Michael Strahan. What a garbage segment. You have an ex-professional football player, daytime TV host, gets over on two of your superstars, an up-and-coming superstar in Titus and a former world champion in The Miz. Then they dance with him, which is kind of weird because it was kind of a face interview when we just recently seen The Miz turned heel. The whole thing to me just blew. I mean, it was one of the worst segments I've seen on Monday Night Raw, and it's only topped on this show by something we'll get to cover later on, but it was absolutely terrible. Miz TV is the worst interview segment they've ever done. This was probably the worst Miz TV, so that speaks volumes. And Michael Strahan did not bring anything to the table. I'm not a fan of Michael Strahan's. I'm a Philadelphia Eagle fan. Therefore, I tend to not like Giants. He has his good qualities on the Fox TV show, the pregame show, not his TV show. That was terrible. He's okay. I mean, he does some good commentary, good work there. I'm not home during the week when he's on with Kelly Ripa to say what he does there, but just, I don't know. It didn't help out the WWE brand. If anything, it helped the Michael Strahan brand. A better soundbite or a better bite would have been either Titus or Miz laying the boots to him, like my friend Bob Delp, aka Bunkhouse Bob, said. That would have been what would have played on SportsCenter. That would have been what would have been on TMZ. Strahan getting beat down. Anyway, I digress. Going on to the next match, we have the former Heyman guys, Curtis Axel and Ryback, versus Big E Langston and Mark Henry, a.k.a. the World's Strongest Tag Team. World's Strongest Tag Team picks up the win. Kind of find it odd that they're pairing these two so closely to Big E's winning the title. Almost overshadows his title win. But maybe it's a way to kind of ease Mark Henry back into it. Mark Henry looking great, looking slim, trim, as slim and trim as he can look. And, looks like he's added some agility, rejuvenated himself, come back, and he's ready to go again. And Big E, I think he's just a guy that's going to be pushed for the future, and I think he deserves everything he's going to get. The guy's an amazing talent. Now, this was a segment we were talking about a little bit ago. From a rematch at the Survivor Series pay-per-view, the Total Divas roster from the TV show versus the rest of the Divas, or the Real Divas as they were calling them. This was the worst match on Survivor Series, and it was even worse on Monday Night Raw. This was total mind-numbingly, I want to rub Drano into my eyes so I don't have to watch this anymore bad. There is some really good female talent that's on this roster. There really is. Natalya Neidhart is amazing. Tamina Snuka is really good. Caitlyn is really good. AJ Lee is a really good women's wrestler. Shit matches like this, it boggles my mind why they think that we would enjoy this. This was terrible, terrible, terrible. I mean, the only redeeming quality that I can even think of is the eye candy factor. You put 14 beautiful women out there, and trust me, every one of them is a beautiful woman. However, I don't care. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I could turn on any television show all the way on around the dial. Old reference for those of you that are my age or even older. And see a beautiful woman on every show. Avengers of S.H.I.E.L.D. has beautiful women. Big Bang Theory has beautiful women. 2.5 Men has beautiful women. Any TV show you turn to, even ones that you don't think they should be. Walking Dead has beautiful women on there. It's not a novelty to see beautiful women. Give me a beautiful, beautiful women that are actually doing something entertaining. It's not the 1990s where all it was enough for Sonny to skip around the ring. This is 2013. We need more from them. Give us a reason why they're there. One of the worst segments in Monday Night Raw history. Just a total embarrassment, in my opinion, to everything that Monday Night Raw is. Now, I'm going to go on to a lighter subject here, coming off of that. Our question of the week, what is your favorite, from last week was, what was your favorite DVD or VHS, if you still have those, that you have in your wrestling collection? These are some answers from our friends. First is from Lord Bogglesworth. Although it seemed fairly out of the blue, the Royal Rumble 2007 DVD holds a special place in my heart. The event itself brings back awesome nostalgic memories of Shawn Michaels' Undertaker ending. That was a great Royal Rumble, probably one of the best in history. Solid choice. It is a little bit off the wall. I'm okay with that, though. I thought it was... obviously this was the point of it. We all have different things that we like for different reasons, and there's something that spoke to you from that DVD, and I think that's awesome that you enjoyed something that's not a little bit out of the norm. Next is from our friend, Yellow Lion 3250. My favorite video was WrestleMania 1 video. It's what got me into wrestling. WrestleMania 3 was epic, but 1 was the first and had stars. I don't know who Mr. T was. I didn't know who Mr. T was until then. Then you had the man who should have been world champion, Mr. Wonderful, who was a great heel. And I see that the Mr. Perfect gimmick was a spin-off of that. Just a great video all around. Backstage segments wasn't even thought of until then. I agree. WrestleMania 1 was an absolute epic, spectacular video. WrestleMania 1 happened when I was just becoming a wrestling fan. I think I was 7 at the time, and pretty much all my life I've been a wrestling fan. My mother used to tell stories of me imitating Jimmy Snuka, jumping off the playpen when I was 2 and 3 years old. About 83, Roddy Piper caught my eye, and I was about 5 or 6. And Roddy Piper caught my eye on Saturday morning when I should have been watching cartoons or whatever, and I was enthralled. Something about Roddy Piper made me watch forever, and that was right about that time. That's what led to that amazing time in wrestling. Great pick right there. WrestleMania 1, very much overlooked. The matches, I don't know that the matches still hold up as good as they were then, but the pure epicness of WrestleMania 1 and what it became, we're talking 20, 30 years later now, we're at WrestleMania 30, and just it's a global spectacle at this point, and that was the first one. Great choice. I'm going to go into my pick, my favorite DVD. It's one I actually got, I'd say almost around a year ago. I got it from rfvideo.com. You can go there and pick it up yourself. It's I believe it's either a 6 or 8 DVD set. I'm sorry because I bought a few of those sets from them, so I don't remember what the total number actually was. But it's the entire Raven versus Tommy Dreamer feud from ECW. Every single match, every single promo, every run-in. It is, in my opinion, the greatest feud in the history of wrestling, and to have it all chronicled on one set it was just amazing to me. I mean, I sat there probably a week straight every day after I came out of work. I would watch one DVD and watch 4 hours of it and not be bored at all with the same two guys going at it. And that tells you how good that was. Is you had enough, it's either 6 or 8 DVDs, so I'll say 6 just to say it on the low end. You have 6 DVDs full of just basically these two characters, and they keep you entertained all the way throughout. I thought it was amazing. Another one, if we want to go with just a 1 DVD set or 2, you know, with the extras. It's one that the WWE doesn't want you to know exists, but I rather enjoyed the Chris Benoit story one. It's a great DVD. He was a wrestler that I was a fan of, not a fan of what happened at the end so much. However, that was one of their great documentaries, and if you could watch it objectively, it's still a great video to watch. But basically, that's 2 of my favorites right there. Now we're going to do a little something different. I'll talk about it at the end of the show, but for right now, I'm just going to let you know there's no question of the week for this week. And I'm going to go right on to the next match. We have Dolph Ziggler versus Damien Sandow in a Hamptons hardcore match. Might as well just call it garbage that we found around the arena that we want to hit each other with match. Absolutely terrible match by 2 absolutely good wrestlers. I don't know why. Again, it's mind-numbing what they're doing with some of this stuff. I don't understand why they think that we would enjoy this. I sent out a tweet after this followed back-to-back with the Divas elimination match. For all of you people wanting the Attitude Era, there were 2 examples of the Attitude Era. Divas doing shit that doesn't mean nothing to nobody, and terrible hardcore matches. I mean, for every good thing, every good Stone Cold Steve Austin beer truck, you know, Rock, This Is Your Life, there was 10 of this kind of shit, and there's so much more they could do with Dolph Ziggler and Damien Sandow than just have them throw out these mundane, boring shit matches. I'm sorry, I did not enjoy that one bit. I enjoy both wrestlers immensely. I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know why they do shit like this. I wish I could tell you people this is why they do it. There's an end to their means, but I can't. I really can't. Next up, we actually have the highlight of the night. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk doing an interview. I thought was very entertaining. CM Punk rattled off every wrestler he could think of, and Colt Cabana 3 different times. Marty DeRosa as well. The best thing of that shout out was the Ring Crew Express. For those of you guys that don't know, they were a tag team early on in Ring of Honor's history. The term jobber is a little bit harsh. They were kind of a Killer Bees kind of level, if you remember the Killer Bees. They were never going to be World Tag Team Champions, but they were very entertaining. I like that he referenced them. I thought that was a cool little shout out for those guys. This leads to a match with Punk and Bryan versus all three of the Wyatt family. That ends in a schmoz when the Wyatts won't listen to the referee. They grab Daniel Bryan and abduct him. CM Punk goes to leave to help. The Shield, Roman Reigns specifically, spears him and then they give him the triple power bomb. Thus officially divide and conquer. This is the one thing I thoroughly enjoyed from the show. It gives us two storylines going in two different directions, splitting Bryan and Punk, one with the Wyatts, one with the Shield, all part of the bigger Authority storyline. Now coming up next is another rematch from Survivor Series, which I think we had 3 on the show. Kofi Kingston versus Miz. Again, terrible match. Didn't match up well. I don't know what's going on with the WWE folks. I don't know if it's that they don't know how to put together good, compelling stories anymore. If the writers they have just don't know what they're doing. If they've lost touch. If they think we enjoy this. They've buried Kofi Kingston so much that no one cares that Miz turned heel on him. Miz was acting face earlier in the show. It's really... And I'll get into more of that when I get to cover the end of this and I give it my rating. But next up we have Heath Slater versus Xavier Woods. In a weird twist, R-Truth came out to announce Xavier Woods, said Brodus Clay let him borrow his entrance and his dancers. He comes out to Brodus Clay's music with the Funkadactyls, dances with them. Another instance of the WWE not knowing what to do with a good talent. Xavier Woods, formerly Conscious Creed in TNA Wrestling, is a really good wrestler. He's a solid wrestler. He has charisma. He can get over with the fans. But we're going to stick him in the same role that we give. And I'm not saying this to offend anybody. If you're offended, I do apologize up front. But this is the generic black guy role they give. Any black wrestler that comes in, R-Truth gets it. You're either a rapper, like R-Truth, and Crime Time, or you're a dancer. Think about Flash Funk. Think about Ernest the Cat Miller, Xavier Woods now, Brodus Clay, all the way down the line. Coco Beware. You either had to dance, sing. You couldn't just be a good black wrestler. Even Booker T had to dance. Booker T, one of the great in-ring talents of the last 20 years, has to dance and do the spin-a-rooney to get over. At least in WWE's eyes. Now, I know he was using it before in WCW, and it's part of what did get him over. That's not the point. The point I'm making is, why can't Xavier Woods just come in and be a great wrestler? Why does he have to be the dancing guy? This is 2013. Why are we still sticking to the same stereotypes that we did in the 1980s? Now I'm going to get off my high horse a little bit. We're back to the show. We have the main event, Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio versus John Cena and The Big Show. A match no one could give two shits and a fuck about. Cena and Show win rather predictably. I don't really want to talk about it because I was so bored. I was having trouble keeping my eyes open. Overall, just a terrible Monday Night Raw. And I'm going to jump right into the ratings of this. We have our ratings are normally a 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, a Great Khali. 2 is Heath Slater. 3 is Randy Orton. 4 is a CM Punk. 5 is a Daniel Bryan. Now, before, in the past, we've went above our scale. And specifically for Monday Night Raw, we created a notch above our scale when it blew it out of the charts. And that was an HBK. Well, when we did that, we also created something for when it's below our scale. We haven't had to use it yet. This is the first time we will. I'm giving this one It's not even a 1. It's less than a Kali. It's a Shockmaster. There's not even a number explaining how bad this show was. There was very few saving graces on the show. Based on the Punk and Daniel Bryan versus the Wyatts and the Shield versus Rhodes Brothers and Mysterio matches, I couldn't overlook the mind-numbingly bad either mismanagement of talent like Ziggler, Woods, and Sandow, the not give a shit wrestling matches like the Divas elimination, Kofi and Miz, the main event that no one cares about. The whole thing was just shit all the way through. Now, before we go, I mentioned a little something when I said the DVD thing. We're not doing a DVD question of the week for this week. Here is the reason. I've been doing the show, me and Gary and me by myself, for a little bit over a year. I haven't taken a week off. Next week, I'm going to take a week off from doing the show. There's not going to be any heel heat next week. We will come back the week after. I'm going to come back with the show a little bit different. I'm going to revamp it a bit, make it better, make it bigger, make it faster paced, give you all more, cut the fat basically is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look back, I'm going to take a week to see how we can improve the show, and I'm going to come back with a better show after taking a week off. That's why we didn't do a question of the week, and that's why if you're expecting it, there's not going to be a show next week. Just taking a week off to recharge the batteries. We will be back. Hopefully you guys stick with us. My name is George Coles, and this has been another episode of Heel Heat.